realize that this is the life I've chosen, and I take full responsibility for it. I will say, if you're not familiar with it, that the reason we chose this lifestyle was that it would accommodate a certain goal. I literally wrote a book called Why We Homestead, where I go into much detail about why we believe this is the best lifestyle for our family. There'll be a link in the description and in the pinned comment for that. But it's not without thought and consideration that we decided to live a rural life, a life where we dwell outside of the city walls, away from the concrete jungle. There's a reason why we are landowners and we purchase our property, and a reason that we did it debt-free. The agrarian lifestyle that we've chosen, the self-sufficient, the DIY, the willing to interact with the soil, with the wild, with the created things to get what we need out of this life, is a thoughtfully and well-considered decision that we made in this life. I'm now a hunter. In fact, my children are very interested in hunting. Why? Because they know where meat comes from. Just like they're very interested in gardening because they know where vegetables and fruits come from. After understanding the time and effort and investment that we have to make to raise sheep or to raise goats or to raise cattle and get meat from that, they understand the benefit of hunting. They realize why learning more about wild edibles, how to eat them, what the dangerous lookalikes are, the nutritional value, the areas they grow in, why it's good to be a gatherer while we're also hunters, why becoming anglers and fishing is not only an important, but also a very rewarding and very enjoyable way to provide for our family. And then also, as I touched on, understanding animal husbandry and how to provide a good, healthy life for animals that are going to provide us with milk and with meat and with eggs and with the next generation of those same kinds of animals. I think that it's a life that is real and raw, a life where we're connected to the real world, the world that we were designed to live in, not the man-made system, not the grid of the city with the roads and the intersections and the apartment buildings and the businesses. That's not what God created. He created woods and streams, hills and valleys, wind and sun and soil, plants and animals. That's where we choose to live and enjoy our time. And in trying to live a frugal life, a debt-free life, a life where we solve a lot of our own problems, where we're creative and resourceful, where we're ever learning and even experimenting, developing some serious problem-solving skills where we don't just Google everything right away to find a solution to the problems, but we treat our minds as a muscle, something that if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. That is a life that we appreciate, and that's a life that we've chosen. It is a humble life. A humble life. Here I am sweeping barn tin. Why? If I don't sweep off the spider egg sacs and then I choose to bring it into my house, there's a chance some of those spider egg sacs were brown recluse spiders. You gotta know the threats, know the dangers of your area, and know how to remove them. Now, this is a job that's simple enough for any of my children to do, yet it's not beyond me. I'm humble enough to sweep off some barn tin that came from a chicken house that was going to be bulldozed. This isn't incredibly highly esteemed work here. But sometimes, while a child could do this, they've got reading lessons, they've got math lessons, they've got projects they're working on. They don't just need to be around to do the grunt work here on our homestead. It's a life where we repurpose things. We see the value in things. One of my mottos is basically that if I cannot grow it and if I cannot make it, then I don't mind saving it. I'll find a use for it. It has some value if we're willing to see the value in it. And it's a life where we have to be willing to step outside of our comfort zone. There is so many things that are very outside of our comfort zone that we've adjusted to in this lifestyle. To leave your home, quit your job, cash in your 401k, to leave 750 miles away from where you were living, to move out to an area where you essentially know almost no one, an entirely different kind of culture, entirely different lifestyle. It's not without struggles. Here I am, operating a skidder. I did this for hours and hours and hours, having never known how to run this particular piece of equipment. But you get a quick crash course so you don't get the, learning the hard way crash course. And you step outside your comfort zone. So you learn how to drive it forward, how to drive it backward, how to build a giant pile that if you tip off the side, it's not going to be good for you or the person whose equipment you're running. You got to be careful. But I'm not beyond stepping outside your comfort zone, even to do something new, to learn something new, to rise to the occasion when trying a new task. There's been so much of that, and even one of the benefits of living like an hour round trip away from town is that often you have to solve your own problems or you're going to spend an hour driving. If I can solve a problem in 45 minutes, then I'm 15 minutes to the bonus, 15 minutes ahead. That I didn't have to drive all the way to town, figure out how to solve my problem there as a consumer, and then drive back. Nothing wrong with being a consumer, but I don't only want to be a consumer. I want to be a producer, someone who can take care of things on our own, who can provide for ourselves. And looking at the connected family life that we have, there's a reason I try to find as many home-based streams of revenue that I can. That's so I can be present with my family. There's a reason, several of them actually, why we've chosen to home educate our children. And if children are going to be products of their environment, then we want to have the best environment to produce these children in, because they're going to be a product of that environment. It's very rewarding to see children learn responsibility, to watch them learn diligence. When you see them have an appreciation for things, a willingness to be dedicated and hardworking, and to culture in them the ethics and morals that are appropriate for reasonable people to have. It's not without thought and consideration that we've done these things or chosen this life. So that said, this is the life we've chosen. We're well pleased with it. And I wanted to offer it up as some encouragement for you guys. A lot of people are trying to live a more reasonable lifestyle. A lot of people are stepping out of their comfort zones. They're heading back to the land. They're buying raw land often, buying fixer-uppers. Some people are living in tents and campers, making those short-term sacrifices for long-term goals and visions. I commend that. I really appreciate that, and that inspires me. And I think that there's too many people who've lived who have a lot of regrets at the end of their life. Well, I say that you've got to live in the present in such a way that when you get to the future, you don't regret your past. Hopefully, this was encouraging for you guys. I've got some things I want to do moving forward. and a way to kind of have the family as a whole in a lot more videos. Maybe a new channel intro type thing, where it just kind of rolls down the faces and names and things like that, has a greater familiarity for you guys, and to make some really worthwhile and wholesome content where there is the purpose of conveying some sort of information, sharing some sort of ideas with you guys, but also presenting it in a very palatable, heartwarming, relatable type context. So this is the life I chose, and I take full responsibility for it. I'll see you next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. Hit the red button. Thumbs up. For real.
The cowhead is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.